Paul writes in Philippians 4:9, he says, "What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you." And you see, this verse is really challenging to the readers that we should put into practice the words of God. But I want to take a second and actually take a look at this verse again from the viewpoint of Paul, who wrote this. You see, I believe when we take a look at these 5 key words and apply it to the author, not even just the audience, that we get insight and gives us 5 keys to be a better parent, a better leader, both in our home and in ministry. You see, the first word says, these things that you have learned. Well, in order to learn, you have to first teach. And so the question is, are we teaching our children and our students on a regular basis? The second word is received. Well, someone can't receive something unless somebody else gives it to them. So besides teaching, what is it that you're giving your children or giving your students on a regular basis? The third component to more effective leadership comes from the idea of hearing. Paul says, what you have heard. Well, you can't hear unless someone shares. So what is it that verbally, what are we sharing and communicating and talking about on a regular basis? Are we sharing the good news of the gospel just as much today as we were last week or the month before on a regular basis? The fourth component deals with the word seen. And Paul says, for these things that you have seen in me. Well, in order for someone to see something, you have to first do something. And so as parents and as leaders, we're called to teach, we're called to give, we're called to share, we're called to do. And when you sum all that up together, Paul challenges his audience to practice these things. And for us to practice, we have to first see a model of someone practicing these things. And so that's the challenge for parents. When you sum up everything, that last step there is to model. How are you modeling the Word of God for your kids and for your students on a daily basis? So if we take those 5 components, teaching, giving, sharing, doing, and modeling, I believe that we can more effectively train up our kids and our students to have the peace of God living within them. Have a great afternoon, and God bless.
But you remain, you guide.